There was a channel that I had seen around before. It's a popular channel called Styxhexenhammer666. So I just took a moment to watch it. It was called The 11 Satanic Rules of the Earth Explained. And it was about 14 minutes. And I don't know if I can say something quaint, but I was pleasantly surprised. I'm, first of all, not any specific religion. I am not committed. I do not belong. I am my own person. I don't like to use the person either because that's a legality. That's a legalese. I am what I am. I am a human being, if you want to use that term. I'm an entity. I'm eternal. There's different categories, but as far as religions, I'm not a member of any of those groups. I'm not a proponent of any of them. Although I do seem to gravitate a lot around the essence of core early Christianity, or early foundational beliefs of Christ, as far as like a mystical, spiritual version of it. I mean, you know, it's not like it's being practiced by a specific denomination. I mean, there are some that could be similar to what I'm doing, but those are more tight-knit communities. They're isolated, and even if they have networks like you know, Baptists or Methodists, or what are the other ones? There's Calvinism. There's of course, there's Catholic, and there's different versions of the Catholic. There's Hungarian Catholic. Then there's Coptic. There's the Eastern Orthodox. There's the Greek. There's Russian, so on and so forth. In the different regions. See, so they're isolated. They're all connected within this network of, you know, either however you want to slice it, traditional, whatchamacallit. I don't belong. I don't. But I'm flexible enough that I can go check it out, partake. I'm itinerant. You know, that's one of the ways you can describe me. Look it up if you don't know that word. And I'm an itinerant preacher, especially on YouTube. But the point is that I always come back to, I did a series starting last year where I articulated the phrase, and I'm basically a part of the religion without a name, or the religion with no name. And it's going back to the roots of human consciousness. It's going to the core of it, the source of what all this is. What are we doing? What are we thinking? What are we planning? What do we need to make better? The evolution of us. So let's get back to this idea of the satanic rules, the 666, and what that's all about. Actually, the video that I watched had nothing to do with 666. Nothing was talked about, but it was talked about, excuse me, it's late, 11 rules, and it doesn't seem to be a complete system at all. It seems to be very socialistic. It seems to be something that I would compare actually with Confucianism under the Chinese philosopher, the Chinese figure Confucius. Satanism, if it's founded on this being or spirit or demon or whatever they call it, I don't know yet. I could say that it's those things, but someone might have another explanation of Satan. But you know, the practice of it must have like an ancient history stating, you know, what is Satan and how did it get involved here in the universe and this planet and our world and our being, and how did it compare or contrast with everything around it. What was the conflict, the struggle, and how did it establish, you know, this thing that they can practice and believe in right now. But I guess this thing that he's talking about, this list of rules, which, you know, it's very logical, you know, very nice, very humanity-oriented and very civilized is another way you can describe it. Because one of the, I think the 9th rule that he read was, do not harm little children, young little children. And, you know, this is just basically sane advice. This is like the foundation of civilization, is the foundation of family, is the foundation of society. Now we hear from him that it seems to be within Satanism. So what he's doing is describing this, that it either comes directly from Anton LaVey, because he was saying LaVeyan Satanism. So that's a denomination within Satanism. Now I've heard about LaVey. I've seen him. He's a bit older now, or I don't even know if he's still alive. And I've also seen videos of his daughter and another high up person in their group. So those, if you look, you'll see these videos. Do I look like a Satanist to you, or do I look like Anderson Cooper? But you know, getting to the serious matter at hand, if I would think of Satanism as these 11 rules that he talked about, this vlogger, I wouldn't have really anything against Satanism. But that's the thing. If you read the 10 Commandments of Christianity, if you read other articles of faith, whether they're formalized under the Catholic, you know, or the different denominations, and you read this, you know, codification, I wouldn't be against Christianity either. But here's the stickler. It's what people do later on in their hypocrisy. That's what I'm against. So that would be the same for the Satanists. If they're hypocritical and they just become comfortable that they're Satanists, and then they go out and they break all those rules, and they don't practice what they preach, there's no way to read that in the rules, because the rules are a part of the ideal. It doesn't mean that's what you did. It means that's your ideal. That's what is in the formal definition of Satanism, or the formal definition of Christianity, or the formal definition of what other religion you want me to throw in there. The Hindus, the Vedic, the Krishna consciousness, or the Baha'i faith under Baha'u'llah, or Muslim, Jews, Buddhists, how many others? So every religion can be taken over and be like a rotten apple. Rotten apple spoils the bunch eventually. So any one of these can have people that are false within it. But I already said that I was pleasantly surprised if that's what they say and that's what they intend to practice of Satanism, ideally, then it's cool, whatever. And this was given by a guy, Styxhexenhammer, who says that he's an independent Satanist, and he was describing the more larger group Satanists that are LaVeyan Satanists. And as an independent Satanist, he's also some form of agnostic. I think he threw an atheist there, but I definitely heard him say agnostic. So there is other subdivisions of what people believe in their different categories, but I always go back to if I'm going to have a religion, if I'm going to have something that I practice, it is going to have to fit under the phrase that we can all adopt and all belong to once we choose to. It's called a religion without a name, or the religion without a name. Thanks for listening, everybody. Feel free to make your comments if you have something to share.